GLP-1 medication like Ozempic, Wegovy, Manjaro, they all help you lose weight. But the question is, what exactly are you losing? There have been a lot of studies recently that look at the impact of semaglutides and tirzepatides, which are essentially forms of GLP-1s in the above listed medication, and they show that a solid portion of weight that's actually lost is lean mass. Now, lean mass can be muscle, it can be organs, it can be bones, it can be a whole bunch of things that are very, very useful. And this is a real problem that no one's really talking about when we look at this GLP-1 space. Today I'll be telling you about 3 main strategies that you can use to optimize your health, as it's not just about losing weight or seeing a number on a scale, it's about optimizing your entire well-being. So let's dive right into it. Let's start up with what GLP-1s are. So GLP-1s stand for glucagon-like peptide 1, which is a synthetic hormone that mimics a naturally occurring hormone that helps with slowing digestion and reducing cravings, which is what helps with weight loss. And there's 2 main types. So there's semaglutides like Ozempic and Wegovy, which essentially mimic this GLP-1 hormone. Then you have tirzepatides like Manjaro, which target GLP-1s, but also another hormone called a GIP, which is a glucose-dependent insulinotropic peptide. And so it has like a, 2-factor combination, whereas semaglutides typically just target GLP-1s. So yes, on this medication, there's slower digestion, less cravings, which means you eat less food, meaning less calories, but it also means less nutrients, less protein, and it also means less training or less vigorous training because you don't have the energy to exert yourself as much. And chances are the person does not have a workout plan or some way to preserve lean mass, which is also a really big problem. And so yes, you lose weight, but at what cost? The thing about lean mass is that it's so diverse. It includes bones, it includes organs, and it includes muscle. So with muscle, if you start losing too much muscle, it not only affects your physique, but it affects your metabolism, your metabolic rate. It affects your ability to put off weight. It affects your ability to have enough energy, enough strength, and it affects hormone production. And so because of all these factors, you really have to consider, is the weight that I'm losing really fat, or is it lean mass? Clinical trials show that up to 30 to 40% of mass lost on GLP-1s is attributed to lean mass. And in this context, anywhere from 20 to 25% is considered statistically significant. When looking at semaglutides, so Ozempic, Wegovy, the typical range of lean mass reported was around 20 to 39%, with a meta-analysis then showing 25 to 33% of it was lean mass. It's important to note that the ones that had larger muscle loss, so around up to 39%, was reported at a very early stage and in high doses without dietary and exercise countermeasures in place, which could have amplified the effect of these medications. And then when looking at tirzepatide, so Manjaro, at the highest dosage of 15 mg, there was a reduction seen in muscle quality, but overall muscle loss was not significant. So why does any of this matter? So this matters because muscle is essentially your body's engine. It helps with caloric burn when at rest, helps with supporting joints, it helps with stabilizing blood sugar levels, and keeps you functioning as you age. And this is one of the strongest indicators of whether people get dementia or other types of neuromuscular diseases as they get older, because the better quality and more muscle you have, the less at risk you are of developing these conditions as you age. So if you do lose muscle mass, yes, you hit a number on a weight machine, but the thing is you feel soft, you feel tired, you feel weak, you don't burn as many calories, and it also leads to problems in the future like feeling a bit stuck since your metabolic rate is lower and you also don't have the ability to burn as many calories as you would when you're healthy and at your optimum. Onto the strategies. So everyone should be doing this, but especially people on GLP-1s. So first one is prioritize protein. This is super, super important. Try to get anywhere around 1.2 to 1.6 grams of protein per kilogram of body weight. Obviously, this differs from person to person, so it's best to work with a nutritionist if you can. And the way you should be doing this is trying to consume protein, like spread it across your day. Try not to have a whole lump of 50 grams of protein in one meal and then none in the other remaining 2. So try to spread out evenly. And when you're on the medication, even if you don't feel hungry, try to eat. And if you don't feel like eating, There's protein shakes, protein bars, other forms of protein. Because the thing is, just because you don't feel hungry doesn't mean your body doesn't need nutrients. Because the GLP-1s essentially push down your hunger and your cravings, you may not even realize your body wants it. So even if you have no appetite, try to get in as much protein, as much nutrients as you can, as your body still needs it, even if you don't feel like it. The second one is resistance training. So try to get in at least 2 sessions of resistance training, so strength training. This can be things like progressive overloading, so weightlifting, body weight, resistance bands, things like that. This is especially crucial when you're in a calorie deficit, as it helps to preserve lean mass. And this is even more important for women who are going through menopause or around that area, as osteoporosis, so bone density issues, is a really big problem. And by lifting weights, you're essentially supporting not only your muscles, but also your body and your bones. And so this will help you with reducing the risk of getting osteoporosis in the future. And a big one that I usually see is that, it's another one for ladies, is that lifting does not make you bulky automatically. I can vouch for that 100%. And there's this whole myth that if you lift weights, you will get big and bulky like a man. That is so not true. And the sad thing is, I see a lot of women where their male partners tell them, oh, don't go to the gym, you'll get big and bulky. I don't want to bro or whatever. That's definitely not the case, because first, there's biological differences. Women quite physically cannot get as bulky as men unless you really, really try hard. And I can guarantee you doing weights 2-3 times a week at like a steady level will not make you bulky. So do not worry. The last one is nutrient density. So especially when you're eating less, what you eat matters that much more. So try to pack in some veggies, protein, healthy fats, things like that, and stay away from like the processed, ultra processed carby food like biscuits, those really sugary, even protein bars, like really sugary protein bars are not recommended. So try to stick with whole food, so things like veggies, omega-3 fats, so salmon, walnuts, things like that. And even if your appetite disappears, try to eat something. As I mentioned before, just because your appetite decreases doesn't mean your body's nutritional needs decrease. They still stay steady. That brings us to the end of this video, and if there's 2 things I want you to remember, just 2, it's resistance train and eat nutrient-dense meals. These are super important, and the thing is, GLP-1s are a band-aid solution, and the number of people I've seen use it like it's this amazing abracadabra, I'm skinny magic trick is just sad, because GLP-1s are a band-aid to a problem. They are not the fixer of the problem, which is most typically your mindset and your lifestyle. And so until you make changes in these areas, GLP-1s are going to be useless. They're only going to be a temporary fix. And so please remember to resistance train and eat well, as that will save you so much trouble in the future, whether you're on GLP-1s or not. And as a little bonus, let me know in the comments below if you'd like some sample GLP-1 meal ideas. This is general advice, of course, as with all my videos. And I don't want you to just lose weight. I want you to transform your life in a sustainable and healthy way. So I hope this video was useful. Please like, share, and subscribe. And wishing you all happy digestive systems until the next one.